I'll just be giving a brief overview of the Ready Set initiative. So sometimes in 2024, while I was 7, I was around a group of people who where I noticed that a form of gap in terms of knowledge for young people who are fresh out of university, undergraduates and people who are serving. And I thought, oh, how can I, help people while also helping myself? I noticed that when I speak to older people who already have experiences in specific points or in specific areas that I need help in, when I speak with them, based on their experience, based on their knowledge, I'm able to shorten the educational gap that I have. And so that is what birthed forth the Ready Set initiative. And then we started it as a yearly webinar where we prepare for the next year. We have speakers that come to speak, and then we have our audience ask questions, engage. It's always a very interactive session. And because of your consistency, we have so many people who have been here in the previous editions of Ready Set. And because of that energy, the love, the appreciation that we've gotten for those previous webinars, we decided to, do it again last year. And it was really awesome. We spoke about, accessing global opportunities and building a personal brand and a business brand. And this year, in the first quarter of 2026, we've decided to even niche it down to a specific industry. And that is what birthed forth what we are celebrating today, or why we are here today, the Ready Set Prad. I'm drumming for myself, do the drum roll, right? So yeah, so I have a lot of people reach out to me and say, oh, how do I get into the PR agency? How do I start working advertising? What do you people even do? How is it like? I'm like, I'm not the one that's going to answer all these questions for you people. I'm just a small girl. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to grow. I'm still trying to, stay strong in this industry. But I have some people who have experience, years of experience. They've done different kind of jobs. They've worked across different organizations. And these are the best people to answer all of these questions. Please, let's say thank you to our speakers in the chat box. I want to say thank you to them for me. Please help me tell them thank you. Tommy C, thank you. Mr. Uche, I'm not familiar with Mr. Uche. Like, I prefer Creative Nerd, right? Creative Nerd, thank you. Mr. Shegun, thank you so much. Jamie, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you work in the advertising agency, you would know how like work is always back to back. You think you are done with this brief and then, let me chill. As you're about to just the next brief has slammed your face, and I know how exhausting that can be. And so I'll just be introducing them one after the other. I did not prepare any, I actually requested for their bios, right? But I feel like those bios are actually too corporate, and then they reduce people to a specific box. So I'm just going to talk about my experience working with each of them one-on-one. So for Tommy, I met Tommy last year. I'd just come back from NYSC, and she was the new HR manager for my agency. And when I wanted to go on it, I was like, this person is new. She doesn't know me before, because at that time, the agency was undergoing a whole lot of changes, right? And I was like, I don't know, would I have to like prove myself again? Would I have to express myself and do so many things? But when I met her, she was so warm. She just read through my CV, asked a couple of questions. I'm like, okay, looks like I'm in good hands. And then working with her in S1U, seeing the changes that have happened in few months has been very, very, it's something that you cannot ignore. It's something that we should appreciate. And so I say thank you so much for the work you do. I am so grateful. Our next speaker is Creative Nerd. This is his name. I'm not familiar. If you wake me up in the night and say, who is this? If I see the name, I'm like, I don't know this person. When I was working on this file, I had to go to his LinkedIn page to go and check his name, because I just know him as Creative Nerd. Creative Nerd is a very amazing person. When I was at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism, I saw him. I was like, I think he came for a session. So I was like, who is this guy? And I connected with him somehow, but I didn't really know who he was. Then later in my advertising class, they now spoke about O2 Academy. They now talked about him. I was like, oh, okay. So I followed their page and, all of that. And he was the then associate provost of O2 Academy. And one thing about him is that he's very passionate about teaching. When I was at O2, he would teach so passionately. I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay. Let's be going home now. It's okay. And then he just loves to teach about strategy, brand management, across board, and he has years of experience coaching so many people. If I'm not exaggerating, at least 100 people. He has tutored 100 people in the advertising industry, and these people are going to become giants. I'm also going to become a giant because I am one of his products. Thank you so much, Creative Led. I'm super, super, super happy and grateful for your contribution in my life. Next is Mr. Shegun. So I worked with Mr. Shegun. Like, we sat together for many months, and when I was looking out for somebody in PR, there were so many other options, but I'm like, no, this is somebody that I've seen him in his good days, I've seen him in his bad days, I've seen him undo so many briefs that I'm like, I thought that someone was doing this in this agency, and then it will still overcome it, and I'm so grateful. I remember sometime we would work late into the night, and then I will have to go home because then he used to stay at Ojota, and then when we have to cross the road, because obviously we can't climb the bridge at night because of security reasons, you say, yeah, let me hold you so that your daddy will not ask me that what happened to my daughter. And I'm so grateful for that. Really, really, really appreciate it. And he has left me the agency and he has gone to client side, so we'll also be sharing about that today. And on our list today, we have Damilola Aiki. Damilola is a very creative person, from his sense of style to his composure. Like, Damilola is very composed. Like, you see when me I'm talking, I'm shouting, I'm doing like, he would just talk very softly. I'm like, God, when he's a very, very creative person. He has been one of the judges for Life Awards, and he's just creative. Everything about him is just very creative, and these are the people who would have on board today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's jam our hands together for them as we do a quick Q&A session with them, because I did not want them to start, creating slides, doing so many things because of time. If I say create slides now, they say, I need another 2 hours to put work together. So what I've done is all the questions that you have sent to us while you were filling the form, we'll just be reiterating that, right? We'll be asking questions from those lists that you submitted, and they will be answering it. So the first question goes to Damilola. Dami, let me know if you're ready to speak. This person says, how can I navigate the advertising industry so the person is asking that, what are the different parts of advertising that they can fit into? Are there all the roles the same thing, or I don't know. So, but the person wants to know, what are the different parts of advertising that they can fit into? Are there different job descriptions? Just let us know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the introduction and warm welcome as well. Just confirm you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear, like my GMD always says.
All right. So, to answer the first question, I would say my favorite thing about the industry, right, is the fact that anybody can fit in, really. And when I first joined, so my first year in advertising was 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017. So next year will make it my full decade in advertising. And my first experience, actually, interestingly, was also at SO&U. And one thing I noticed, especially in the creative department, was that just you have a collection of different eclectic people. You see writers that studied statistics, you see art directors that studied, engineering. Just whoever you are, there's a place for you, right? And that's even just speaking to the creative department. At the end of the day, as a creative, what matters is what you have, your skill sets, what you've learned, how well you know the job. So it really doesn't matter if you studied communications, which I was lucky enough to, but my boss then studied statistics. My creative director, I think, studied vets medicine or something. So it was just like a zoo, right, with different creative animals. Now, if you go beyond the creative department, you go to brand management, you go to strategy, you go to production, just the full length of your average creative agency, right? You realize that what really matters is what you know, not exactly what you studied. And in one of my pre-prepared responses, I said that the one thing that matters the most is your instinct. How do you see the world? What kind of questions do you ask? Are you curious about why people act a certain way? Are you curious about what make people do the things they do? Are you curious about in the North, There are certain things they like there. There's a certain way they do things. In the West, there's a way we do our things. In the East, there's a way we do things. So why is it that certain products sell better in a particular region and then sell less in other regions? Just if your instinct easily pushes you towards these questions, I would say there's a place for you. So in strategy, you don't need to have gone to a communication school to be a good strategist. In fact, go to any agency, ask their top people in strategy. Half of them probably didn't study it. Maybe you were a researcher, maybe you worked in media, maybe you have a background in research or quantitative analysis or something, and then you get on the job, you pick up the skills. I mean, I already emphasized the one for the creative department, how just as a copywriter, just learn the basics of writing, learn strategic thinking, learn how to evolve both of them into solving your clients' problems. And there's a place for you, really. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you. So Dami has broken it down into like we have a strategy, we have the brand management, we have the creatives, and the creatives, we have the copywriters and the art directors. So if you're wondering where you actually fit into, you can just take a note of all of these breakdowns and later, just do your research and see where your strength fits into. And you spoke about, people who have a background in statistics and they are doing creative work. Tommy, see, this is where we need your help. You are an HR professional. How can somebody who has a different background, like statistics, how can they prove to you that they're actually creative? Because I find out very funny. I, for instance, studied English language and education, though it's quite similar to working in communication, but statistics and creatives, please help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kolumi. Ask me what I studied first. I studied biochemistry.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not a new thing to study something and then find out that you are also good at other things. I believe that human beings can be different things. You can be a good mathematician, and then that also helps how you see how you hear people's stories, how you decide that, okay, yes, this kind of heart, this kind of visual will appeal to this group of people. This copy will resonate well with these people. So I believe that people can be different things, but one thing that is key is that you must know the industry you want to work. You must have a plan, and it does not have to be a big mission, vision board or mood board, but there must be that plan in your head that, okay, this is the industry I want to go into. What do I need to succeed in that industry? What do I need to stand out? So for example, Damilola mentioned a few things. One of them is tolerance. Like I said, from my own experience, I came into the industry a year ago. I've worked in other sectors that are not advertising or media, and the first thing I saw that I really appreciated was the fact that we have different people, we have just different personalities. It's something I emphasize on during orientation, that if you're coming into it, so you know that yes, we tolerate any whoever you are, just come and work with us, but also you have to know that other people are like that as well, and you have to also tolerate them. You also have to be curious. You have to, again, this also goes back to researching the industry you want to work, highlighting the skills that you will need to succeed, to stand out, and then using all resources. If at the moment you cannot afford big certifications or trainings, Udemy as free is a site that you can get good free trainings. Even YouTube, identify the resources that you can easily afford and make sure that you build up yourself. And once you have that first base of knowledge, it builds a kind of confidence that even when the other people that maybe studied communication, studied strategy, when they are talking, you are able to, how can I put it, you are able to understand them, and then you also have a level of confidence that makes you ask them for more information even if you do not understand. So I'll basically say that research, have a plan, be sure of what you are getting into, be sure that you understand what it requires, and make sure that you take it step by step, and then also understand that for the first, I think continuously you will continue to learn, but for the first maybe first few years, you are going to be learning as much as possible, and you have to be willing, not just saying, oh yes, I want to learn. Learning involves, again, doing research, asking people questions, taking feedback. Even when you have been able to do a deliverable alone or a project alone, ask your peers, ask your managers. Even till now, there are desks that I work on that, excuse me, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. There are decks I work on now that I still show my colleagues or even my team members that, okay, guys, come and look. What's your view? What do you think? So always be open to learning and back it up with action. I don't think that whatever you studied in school is an obstacle. I actually believe that it helps you think outside the box sometimes. I have been able to make the changes Pelumi was talking about, because I think in structure, I think in, okay, this is not working well. I don't want to treat the symptoms. I want to understand the root cause. Okay, let me do an audit. Let me do a survey. Let me talk to people. Instead of solving it one time, I want to make sure that it does not happen again. And then I start putting the structure there. Funny enough, while I was in school, a lot of my classmates hated structure in biochemistry, but I simply loved it. So I believe that what you studied in school, or what you can be good at different things. So don't limit yourself. Do your research, learn, be open to feedback, and then just take it a step at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You said so many things, and one thing that really stood out for me was when you mentioned that you studied biochemistry, and then studying biochemistry helped you learn about structure. And I think regardless of what people study, there are always transferable skills in what you study. You know, I studied English language, for instance, and there's a part of education called curriculum development. And you know, when you're planning communication, the process is quite similar, because you're looking at who are you speaking with, how do they get the message. So there are transferable skills in everything you study, that you can move even to the PR agency or advertising agency, because there are different briefs that come to your desk. Today you're working on fashion, tomorrow you're working on events, next tomorrow you're doing FMCG, you're doing corporate. So it's really, really amazing. Thank you so much, Tomisi. With all that we have heard, Mr. Uche, let me just call you creative then. Mr. Uche sounds so cringe. I don't know. Creative then, can you help us with the basic things people should know when they want to come into the PR and advertising agency? Mr. Shagun, you go right after him, specifying on PR, but I want Creative Net to just speak to what are the basic things. So I'm a student now, I'm in 400 level, for instance, I'm studying mass communication, and I want to work in a PR agency. What are the basic skills, basic things that I need to know? Thank you. Okay, I think he's not on the call. Mr. Shagun, please, can you help us with it? What are the basic things people should, you know, I want to go into the PR agency, into the advert. I don't know where to start. They've given me plenty notes and assignments in Unilag, but I want to go into the industry. What are the basic things that I should do? Thank you, or learn.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I think my mic is a bit echoing.
Yeah, your mic is echoing.
All right, please, can you hear me?
Okay,
I was trying to put a face to my name, just in case I get to meet the rest of the people. You never can tell. Well, apologies, my camera is a bit faulty, and I think my phone is stuck. Anyways, to answer your question, I think I'll begin with the line Dami said, which is about being curious. I think it's one thing that has made me grounded in PR. I mean, I've always been a curious person. So what's the why and how exactly are we doing this and not doing this the other way? Like my finance teacher would say, there are so many ways to kill a cat, but why exactly are we killing it this way? You understand? So because when you are this curious, you get to internalize a lot, which is question from your own sense of judgment, perspective, opinions, the society, morality, values, and all of that. And then you come up with something authentic, which now form your own basis. Like, oh, I have come to believe that this is the way because I have gone through this particular process, right? So being curious would help uh, whoever wants to go in this field. Sorry, whoever wants to go in this field. Um, Again, I think that to in terms of longevity, because I've seen people, I also have a few mentors in the industry, and one thing that's stuck for me while I've observed them is they write and they are always trying to manage relationship. Thankfully, Pelumi has worked with me here, and she can bear witness to some of my own personal experience in the industry. I remember when my manager wanted to start sharing some contacts with me, he said to me, he said, these people I'm sharing with you, they are now on my level, which is above your level. But when I send you out to the field, I need your eyes and ears to be open. So you need to start creating your own contacts, which is, people on your level, because in 5-10 years time, these are the same people that would have grown to become head of department, director in different phases of life and all of that. So you don't want to be outcast, with my own set of people, because by then maybe that even turn old and gray. So you need to learn how to keep and manage relationship. This goes beyond PR. I mean, I have involved it into my own life, and I can tell you for a fact it has been very, very beneficial. Another thing I would make mention is you need to be media awareness. You need to be consciously aware of everything in your surrounding. It's very difficult when you wake up in the morning, you don't even know what's current, what's trending, you don't even know what's the national dialogue, what's the statistics, what's the comparison from developing world country, third world country, and underdeveloped country. So this just puts you in place of having numerous information, because again, you never can tell. This information don't just put you in spaces where you become tested, but also shows your capacity and skill. So you need vast information. You need to be media aware from time to time, and these are just few of the things that encompasses being a standard PR person, because again, it transcends just being a PR person. It transcends into, if you immerse it into your own lifestyle and incorporate it into your daily life, it helps you grow and develop yourself, and over time you become solid. One other thing I would mention, I call it basic, but it's still very essential to this industry, is you need to know how to write. There's no magic about it. It's just as training yourself. You need to know how to write. I started in the field of journalism in my career. I started off in the radio station, where I write reports, I transcribe, I read the news that had been, read, had been on air, So with those time, I was able to train myself even before going on air. Eventually, I got a segment of on the show where I had to do campus drive. I have to get information from different schools, and start airing my own segments. It was beautiful, but before getting to that stage, I learned how to write, because again, it might sound basic. I refer to it as big. I mean, I would expect that everybody that is out of their school, understand how to read and write. But in terms of PR, you need to know how to write. You need to know how to coin your words. You need to know how to reflect the message without being too marketing, as they would say. Some people refer to PR as propaganda. Some people say, oh, you tell the lie and sort of sugarcoat it. It's just because of the power that your words carry. It's help move and then portray emotions and reflect the message that your client is trying to pass across. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being very detailed about it. And yeah, writing is very key here. Like, you're going to write. From writing plans to writing press kits, writing reports. Like, it's just a lot of writing. There's a brain work part, but being able to just put your thoughts together in a way that your target audience can receive it properly works. So Creative Net, I don't know, are you still on the call? I was trying to speak with you the other time, but I couldn't hear you. Please let me know if you're on the call and if you can hear me.
Oh yes, I can hear you. Sorry,
All right.
I got a call. Sorry. So I went out for about 3 minutes.
Oh, all
But
right.
I'm back.
Thank you so much. All right. I was going to ask you that some people don't have any background in advertising. Like, they want to transition to PR and advertising. I know you've taught so many people from different backgrounds. And when I was at O2, you taught people that I was in university at that time. There was another man that was in a different field. Like, you've taught big people, small people, everybody together. So people that don't have any background at all, maybe somebody that is a facility manager and he wants to go into PR, he wants to go into advertising. What are the basic things that they need to know? How can they get started? What should they do? What should they practice? Even students who are still in the university. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So it's a beautiful one in the sense that advertising is one work that comes with so much fun. And in my over a decade years and experience of training people, I realized that when you indoctrinate people with fun, learning becomes way easier. So that bit of the fun that comes naturally with doing this kind of job makes it very easy. And if I'm permitted to use marketing terms now, I would say it almost eliminates barrier to entry, meaning almost anybody can come into advertising. Part of advertising said where people are not having fun, they seldomly produce good work. So I'm a true advocate of creativity in every sphere, every job we do. And creativity is basically not just the visuals you're seeing. Creativity is not just the music you're hearing. Creativity is just a different way of doing things that people are very used to. So immediately you go through a different approach. You're already releasing creative juice. So I'll take it back to something we're all conversant with. So I tell people that African mothers are very creative. And they ask me why. And I give them this answer or response back that my own mother personally, if she wants me to do something, she doesn't go outrightly to tell me not to do that thing the usual way. So she garnishes it. She takes the A and places under the B and probably puts a Z and presents it back to me. Now let me illustrate this in an actual story. So there was a day I was walking past the parlor and then I mistakenly stepped on her leg when I was passing by. And then I just stopped and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." The next thing I heard was, yes, people me, oh, people me. When I cannot walk again, you tell me who will give you food to eat." Now, she should or could have easily said, "Ah, you hurt me," or "Why did you step on me?" But see the extent to which it went to show me the gravity of that very simple action I took. So she blew out of proportion the consequences that would result from me taking that action. And immediately she said that, I say, my mommy, people who will give me food. The next time I'm passing there, I am way more cautious. I'm way more creative. I'm way more cautious about my steps. So, I mean, this is what creativity is. So, basically, presenting people with a different way to something they're very used to. And in every way and manner, we can apply this all across our life, not just advertising in every space, in every area. Now, to bring it back to your question, first off, advertising has a very low barrier for entry, meaning that almost is the profession that you see more students outside of mass comm practicing advertising than actual mass comm students that went to school to practice advertising because of what it takes to be an actual advertising professional or an ad man, I will use. So it doesn't take a lot of it takes this bit of you that is the right-sided part of your brain, and it's something that we all had as kids. Then as we grew up, we stopped being creative. Pablo Picasso says there's a there's an artist in everybody, but the problem is people grow up. So the minute you grow up, you stop being an artist. So if I can, as an instructor or a teacher, speak to the artist inside of you, I'm very sure I can bring creative juice out of you and make you become an advertising practitioner. As you have heard from most of our speakers, one of the major ingredients that makes for a very good advertising practitioner or an ad man is creativity. So whether you're a strategist, whether you are a copywriter, whether you're an art director, you need to be creative. With a strategist, you can't go around presenting regular 100-page documents over and over to your clients. They will get bored. So what can you do with 10 pages? What story can you tell with 10 pages? What can you do creatively to pass your message across? Remember the story I said. My mom showed me the big consequence of a very small action that I took. And with that, I had a very strong impact that till today I still remember the story. So it takes creativity. So to me, if I can speak to the child inside of you, and that child emerges from all of the plenty things that happen, there are many things that happen that makes that child die. Some of us can be esteem issues, some of us can be bullies, some of us can be environment, some of us can be bills. You have to pay bills, so you have to grow up so fast. And then that child inside of you dies. So, summary of everything I'm saying is there's a child in everyone. The issue or the problem is that that child grows up. That's why people stop being creative. The minute you can connect back with that child, I mean, advertising becomes a thing of A, B, and C for you. So how I'm able to get a lot of people that are even outside of advertising to really see or understand or become advertising professional is to help that child in them speak up louder and more braver, put that way. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you guys see how he explained? That's how he used to explain for us in class. So he would explain it such that even if you're dumb, like if you have zero basic idea, you don't have any idea at all, you'll be able to really just understand everything in a very simplified way. Thank you so much, Creative Net. Really appreciate it. I'm going back to Damilola. Damilola, let me confirm you're still on the call. So having said all of this, we built a background, right? How then what would you say are the major or biggest mistakes young creative people make? I finally got into the advertising agency. What are the basic or the biggest mistakes that they make, in the space of maybe being as copywriters or as art directors? What would you say? Because I know you've worked with a large team of creatives. So what would you say is the biggest mistake that they always make?
Okay, so I think for every young creative, for every young artist, mistakes are always going to be a part of your journey, right? And the beauty of having sessions like this is you get to glean from the knowledge of people who have made those mistakes before you. So you're sure that when you're making the mistakes, you're not repeating someone else's. You're creating your own fresh batch of mistakes. And I believe that's how generations grow, right? So the first one for creatives for me would be, so there's this thing that happens where in addressing a problem, in coming up with ideas, it's recommended that you come up with a variety, interrogate them properly. But I think it was you, Pelumi, that mentioned earlier that the way the industry works, there's a deluge of briefs waiting for you. You finish one brief, there's another one waiting for you. You finish that, there's another, right? So what happens a lot of times is people hurry to the end. They hurry to the finish line. So after time, you see them skipping several crucial steps. And the first one is, ideally, you're not meant to fall in love with your first idea. You're meant to keep pushing the envelope. You're meant to keep, but then people just come up with the first one that looks like, this looks interesting. You just drop every other thing. Then you narrow down on that one idea. And you see that at the end of the day, you don't do the right amount of interrogation that you're meant to. So you go to the clients, you go to your team with the first layer of idea. Then secondly, which is a common problem I've seen, a lot of people don't read briefs. And it's a problem that has persisted over generations. You don't read the briefs, or you scan through and you're like, oh, maybe let me just look at the objective section, or let me look at the deliverables section. But after time, at least in my experience, I've noticed that when you read the brief properly, half your problem is solved. Because sometimes if your idea is in the brief, what you're meant to do, even your expression sometimes is in the brief. Then after that, there's the trap of focusing more on optics than effectiveness, right? So you prioritize, I mean, we know that awards are a big part of the life for creatives. You want to say that, oh, I'm the youngest to have won life, I've won the most life awards in one night, maybe I'm the first to win Cannes, all of these different things, right? So after time, you focus on what the idea looks like or what your expression looks like instead of what it should say or what it should aim to achieve. So for that, I would say sometimes creatives prioritize optics over effectiveness. Then the one I've seen, a lot of times that's a bit laughable, is that sometimes you get too attached to the work that we do. So you're in client presentations, you see your creative sweating when the work is being interrogated, you see them catching feelings when the client is asking questions. And as a creative, you can't survive in the business if you don't have a thick skin. Honestly, you need to develop it, because you're not the one that will prescribe to your clients that, oh, this is the way I want to be spoken to. This is the way pamper me, or it's not even about pampering sometimes. Just it's a high pressure job. The person speaking to you, their job is on the line. If you think you have a tight deadline, they have an even tighter deadline than you do. So just don't be too attached to it. We're in the business of rejection, they always say, right? Do your due diligence, but don't overly fall in love with your ideas enough to the point that any counter or any rejection, you're already spiraling, you're already losing yourself. Defend your work, obviously, but just don't catch too much feelings about it and don't be too attached. Then I would say, somewhat related to not reading the brief, is also not asking enough questions. You must always ask why. Question your strategist, question your client, question your brand managers. Just make sure you have enough answers before you start working on the brief. So it's not like you're working on something, then maybe a day to deadline, you're like, a brand manager, beg, ask the client about this thing, or maybe tell them to send us this, tell them to send us that. Ideally, before you start your work, you should have properly interrogated, you should have properly asked your questions. Ask questions during your briefing, ask questions when your brand managers are debriefing you, ask questions when you're even brainstorming with your strategists, right? That's how you grow. But ultimately, I would say, don't be overly attached. Do your due diligence and have a thick skin, because I swear you will need it. You really need it. So yeah, that's my response.
Yes, you have to have a thick skin, because sometimes you work on a plan overnight and you're there like, bump, I'm just going to shake up the whole table. And then you get to the presentation and everybody's like, okay, are you done? And you're like, can't you people see what I just presented? This is please, they will not tell you that this does not speak to the brand, doesn't align with the brand value. So yes, don't attach too much listen to the ideas or to the plan. And sometimes when you attach too much emotions to it, you now start feeling like, oh, maybe you're not good enough. So the thing is just understand the brief, like Dami has mentioned, and he said have enough answers before responding to a brief, because the strategy of why so many whys lead you to the answer. Thank you so much, Dami. I'm speaking about rejections and mistakes. Tomisin, what are the biggest mistakes you see people make when they come for interviews or on their CVs? And then about rejection, what makes you reject a candidate almost immediately? So that's 2 questions. One is, what are the biggest mistakes people make during interviews? And secondly, what makes you just say, this guy, let's just finish the interview. You're not entering the next stage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. So for me, because I look out for how the person fits into our organization culture, there are certain things I look out for in the first 5 minutes, actually the first 2 minutes. Sometimes first 5 minutes, first 2 minutes, but number one, I make sure that any candidate I'm interviewing is they are not nervous, because I tend to ask, what do you need? Do you need some minutes to calm down? Because my belief is that getting the best out of you during the interview is to the best of is to the benefit of both of us. So, but even after all this, I tend to there are a few times I've interviewed candidates that were not just selling themselves enough. Yeah, I understand that there might be times that maybe it's just entry level, but I also want to believe that there are things that you've probably worked on with your classmates in school, projects that you've taken part of, contributions that you've even volunteered for. So even when there is no experience to speak of within that particular industry that you want to enter, it is always good to be able to talk, communicate well, engage, answer questions very well. There have been times that I will ask people what is A, and they will spend 5 minutes talking about Z. So listen very well to questions. If you do not understand the questions, ask again. Be curious. Demonstrate that you are also interested in what your interviewer is saying, and not just a question and answer. Have conversation. So for me, for the first 5 to 10 minutes, the first thing I look out for is how well you're able to engage, because I also know that you're still going to meet with our group managing director or or a CEO or an MD, and there are people that I would not want to waste their time by presenting. If you cannot engage with me, who is the head of HR, how do you not engage with people like GMD, like MD? So I tend to look out for people who can engage very well. If you articulate, even if I can see that how can I put that? You're struggling to understand the question, I'll give pointers. This is what I want to see. But no matter what you do, there's just people that no matter how you try to steer them in the right way, it's always misses. So for that, I do not waste time. I give feedback. I let them know that this is what I wanted to hear. And then also, secondly, I believe that people, from my experience, people do not, again, is learning how to sell yourself, but not just communication, talking about what you've done. We do not brag about our contributions enough. I've interviewed people that their CV was solid, their portfolio was very, very solid, and when it comes to actually explaining, okay, how did this particular good project go for you? What were the challenges? What were your learning curves? What were the things that if you are going to implement such a project in future, you will not do again, or things that you will do? What are the solutions that you can even think of ahead? But people still fail. So it's now creates okay, you are this person on paper, but now that I'm engaging with you, I cannot get a feel of that person. So once I see that, and I try my best to again give feedback that I believe would help, and the feedback is not landing, I just know that, okay, yes, this is not the person for the organization. Because like Damola said, you cannot, if you are working with a client, even if you're working internally, there will be times that you will get feedback. If you're not able to quickly take feedback, engage meaningfully, ask questions. Oh, this is not clear. Do you mean this? Do you mean that? Then there is there is little to how much you can improve, even when people with much experience are trying to teach you. The second one, what did you ask? Sorry.
Okay, I think you've actually answered both of them. I was asking about what instantly turns you off. Like, you know that this person is not going to go to the next stage of the interview. Maybe from their CV, maybe something from their dressing that immediately just, you know what, this is off for me.
Okay, so maybe dressing, not because our dress code is a bit relaxed, but even at that, I've seen cases of people coming with slippers, and when I mean slippers, I don't mean slides. I mean bathroom slippers kind of footwear, and looking rumpled. And yes, as much as you may be going into an industry with relaxed dress code, there's still the point of looking presentable, of looking well groomed. So if you are, I'm sorry, if someone who is, let me give an example. If you're a brand manager and you do not take that time to even present yourself well, what you are telling me as a recruiter is that when you're going to meet my client or your client, you will not give that much thought. And I believe that this industry is about managing perception. So if you cannot take that little time to actually care about your perception in that moment, then what is the value you want to, or you'll be able to offer my client if you are appearing rumpled, if you are appearing not well groomed? So I think that's for dressing. Yes, engagement. I really value interviews that can people that can engage well. So I would say that I'm not engaging well, and maybe looking rumpled. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. And one thing that you also said is people not bragging enough about their work. Like, you've done so many things, so just let me know. Just blow the HIS, but just wind their head with the things that you've done. And for people who have, entry level guys, you in your faculty as an undergraduate, you were part of the social directors. Those things are part of the things that form the basis for you. And then when you're engaging someone like Tominse, for instance, she says, okay, if you can handle a small scale event at the university, then you can work with the events team, and then over time you can grow. So this is a call to all of us to, brag about our contributions, about the work that we have done. All right, thank you so much, Tomi. Mr. Shego, I also wanted to ask you, in the world of PR, are there specific certifications, courses, schools people need to go for, to be well-grounded in PR?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think there are a couple of them. I myself, I have some that I'm still trying to pursue. In the field, you just have to keep on learning. There are new certification here and there. Most especially because, again, you want to go beyond just what you know or what you currently are. For example, I think I started chasing my NIPR certification, I think from the moment I joined, or a year after, and with the help of my manager and head of department at the time, it was very much easy. I mean, they gave me contact to speak to, helped with the whole processes, and then also timeline for how I can get it done as soon as possible. And also there were also other recommendations. So for starters, I would advise you get the one that is within your community or your country, which is NIPR. I started off as an associate, but I think there's for those that do not own or did not study mass communication, you have to start with I can't remember the other category now before mine. So there are about 2 categories before the associate category, and then there are other categories. So you can grow as much as you like, and this certification also has its own benefits. I mean, over time I've been to different events, not just even PR events, just some random events, and I meet some stakeholders in the PR industry, and we get to have a conversation. Oh, I belong to the association, this and that, and they are all very welcoming. I even have somebody that I'm looking up to follow up as a mentor. We've met a couple of times at different events. He even had to be the one to suggest that, oh, keep in touch. Let me have your number. I see that you're doing a lot of stuff, and, and all of that. So yeah, I think it's good to start on the home front, which is like getting your certification from your country or your region and all of that. And then you can now grow beyond, the your current abroad. I think there is PRSA. There is there is the one for the UK community. I can't remember the acronym right now, but I think my HOD at the time has both. She had both the Nigerian, the UK one, and also the one for Africa. So there are about 4 of them, which I think I only have one currently. I'm in pursuit of the PRSA community, and then I'm going for the one for the UK one. All of these are very essential because, again, they connect you with a lot of stakeholders, to golden opportunities that are just far beyond your regional reach. For example, if you continue to just dwell in maybe the NIPR society, for example, you might not get to know about the other associations, and then when you get to meetings, you get to meet people, get to even work on brief. I think the first brief that launched me into pursuing PRSA was TikTok, and we had other agencies from different countries. That was where I got to find out, from my counterparts, because I was doing research on TikTok for the one for Nigeria. It was even the first batch for the TikTok award you now have, which is an annual event right now. We were the first agency handling it in Nigerian side. And then in communicating to other agencies, they were asking for our portfolio. At the time, I only had my associate PR at the time. And I think I've not gotten my certification because I started in the COVID year and all of that. But before I got my certification, which was my induction was online, that would be my certification to my certificate to me. And so it was a very long time, and because at the time we were now doing interagency, they were sharing of portfolio, meetings, conversation with the client and all of that. You have to show up upfront as somebody that is very, very up to the task. So I had my NIPR in view at the time. The people we're talking to, I think from the South African part, they had about 2 to 3 certification. And I saw the PRSA, which I had a conversation with my HOD, and she gave me contacts to begin the discussion. So there are a lot of certification, even online, you could see some certification that just help you brush up your skills, your development and your growth and all of that. But in terms of credibility, it's better off to start home front, which again, it helps with the stakeholders. You will meet these guys at different events. You would even see them. I know some of them as just familiar faces. I don't know them by name because we've not had one-on-one encounters. I've read their stories. I've read their articles and all of that. So it's just better to start off front, because once you not get familiar enough, you cannot grow beyond that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think this question is shaking my table. Like, there's so many certifications I need to get that I've just been really slacking on, but I'll definitely get them. And so everyone listening to, because for someone like Tommy Sento, so maybe I'm supposed to be earning like 500k now, and because I don't have NIPR, I'll say, based on your certification, you might not be able to get this position.
Now,
so
you will now reduce your money.
you might miss my money, so I need to go and get them. So everyone on this call, if there are courses you need to take, certifications, let's do that. Even me, I organize this webinar. I've noted it. I was get my NIPR done this year. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Shego. Mr. Uche, Creative Nerd, you're still on the call. From your own end, are there specific courses people to follow on online, people to watch their YouTube videos, to learn about brand strategy, account management? Are there courses people need to take? Are there schools they can attend? Or do you have any course that they can, take?
You should have told me that you're going to ask me this question, so I should have prepared a course ahead and then make some cool money from everybody here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you've been to Auto Academy, so I advise everybody if you are just starting off advertising. I mean, Auto Academy is a very, very, very strong foundation for you. I mean, being going over the heads of who just networking and meeting with people, the circle you meet there would make major pillars for what you want to do eventually. With their plenty stories. Um, JP, who runs the largest creative gathering, creative block, had the idea and then he works with the people he met at the academy. Um, Nene has the PR agency that managed Udabasi, also picked people from the academy and then they went out to do what they need to do. And there's so many other entrepreneurs. I mean, one thing I tell people about such creative spaces is that you're able to, the Bible says, one shall chase 1,000, and then two with death will chase 10,000. So the power of your network, the people you have around you, they might not be all that there yet, but that journey of growing together with them also gives you a very creative level. Like currently now, I can't tell you how many Auto Academy students that are doing so well that I am actually even doing businesses with now currently at a grand scale because of that circle of meeting people, being in that creative space. So number one, um, I'll say it the Christian way, neglect not the gathering of the brethren. So whatever your tribe is, make sure you don't neglect the gathering of that brethren. So what the people, whatever you want to learn. If you want to go into filmmaking, look for where filmmakers gather and you go there. If you want to go into tech, product management, look for where they gather and find yourself there and keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. And then don't be a pest, I beg of you. Don't be a pest. Always show up with value. With value. There's my pastor will always tell you, Pastor Sam, at the end, we always say, there's never a point in your life that you don't have something to give. You absolutely have something to give. You just need to find out what is that thing that I can give to this person at this point that is of value. For example, people like me that are very busy, if you volunteer that you want to take off some chunk of work that I'm doing and handle it, and all you're saying is, don't pay me. I just want to watch. I just want to learn. I just want to grow under you. That's a lot. That's value you are placing on the table. I know it goes against the pop culture that says, don't pay me with exposure. But I mean, there's something we always say to ourselves in the academy. Allow people use you until you become very useful. So until the point you get very useful, there's no collect any exposure you are seeing, even if it's touchlight. It's not going to be the ray of sun. Whatever it is, it's going to be a beam of light. Whatsoever is going to be, make sure you are aligning yourself to be used so you can actually become useful. Because some of the things you would learn, I'm currently doing a bit of HR strategy currently, and it was based off me being allowed myself to be used some years back in the process of giving birth to a brand. I was not paid directly for that job. I went with someone, but because of my level of commitment on the job, today it was very easy for the consultant I worked with to just call me back on board. That, oh, I remember you worked on this. And then the team in the brand, when they saw I was back on the team, they were so excited. Like, oh, I remember you, because I wasn't just a bench player. I went in and I was adding value. So you need to equip yourself with all of these things. I mean, these are the basic things, and everything is now secondary. You getting data from somewhere. Okay, so what are you looking out for? I always recommend. I mean, Simon Sinek is one very fantastic person because for you to be very successful in this industry, you have to understand human psychology. You need to understand how people think. If you want to influence a behavior, you need to know how they think to know how you can reverse engineer it, to engineer people to do a particular thing. So Simon Sinek is one to follow. There's one I always tell them at the academy. Why am I missing his name now? He's a South African and he has worked on several brands on YouTube. So Lumi, can you remember his name? I think his name just hits me now.
I can't
I,
remember. I know what you're
I
talking
remember
about.
now.
Struggling
I
to
remember now.
remember.
Julian Cole. I remember now.
Yes, yes, yes. It's always. I
Yeah.
mean, his images are always everywhere.
Yeah. So Julian Cole is another person. Just go on YouTube, type Julian Cole. He has done several frameworks, plenty frameworks that can help you build whatever you want to build, especially when it has to do with strategy. It tells you a very simple way to go about your thing. I mean, I learned to get who to buy from him, how you get your target audience, who have this particular attention to see your brand as a solution by telling them this. So that's the framework he designed, get who to buy. And I always deploy it in most of my strategy. So you pick up things like that from Julian Cole, Simon Sinek, and I mean there are many guys out there doing very fantastic things. And I tell people the problem of this age now is oversaturation of information. Before now, there used to be very um, segregated information or information fragmented in different places. But right now, we have information at our fingertips. Anything you want to know, just even go on ChatGPT or your local AI platform or your WhatsApp or whatever. Just ask, okay, so how do I get to move from this point to this point? One major thing people always do that always limits your outcome from AI is that most people tell the AI what to do. So that way you keep the AI within your perspective. Why don't you go and ask the AI, how can I do this? Or give me alternate ways of doing this. Give me up to five steps or different options in which I can journey from point A to point B. And then you see other possibilities that you can begin to explore. And then you start digging deep, like some of our previous speakers have spoken. You start digging deep, you start taking your research more serious, dig deep to find out one thing you can pull out of those spaces. And I mean, I think if you can take just these three major steps, I mean, find yourself where they gather. You need to look for where your tribe gathers, the tribe you're aspiring to be like, find where they gather, then force yourself in by two adding value, not just be someone that is yourself with test. When you arrive, everybody starts going, no, should be someone that you arrive and everybody's like, oh yeah, I have something I need to fix. And you came to mind. I mean, when people start saying that about you, it means you're a person of value. I want to do this, and oh, you're the first person that came to mind. So you need to, and we in advertising we call it TOMA, top of mind awareness. You need to earn a top of mind awareness in being a person of value. And then number three, some of the guys that I've mentioned and every other resource, right? There's we are in an age that it's countless. AI has made it very easy that you can be having a back forth conversation with AI leading to what you want to do. So explore more of how when using AI instead of telling AI what you want. Tell AI to tell you how. What are the possible ways I can arrive at my point B, moving from my point A. I hope this people to convince you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Creative. This was very, very insightful. I had to take down some notes too, and I think a major point for me is to be used. Like I remember when I was at Auto Academy and we were preparing for our pitch, and we were there from like morning to like 7:30 p.m. And Mr. O was like, you've not seen anything. Oh. You work and he used to say something about trying to figure out the exact word. it's just about you grind. Yes, it was always talking about the grind, like you grind, and going into the agency and working. I'm like, oh, so this thing that Mr. O was saying is actually true. I was thinking it was just over exaggerated. Like, why is this man talking like that? Can't be that. I'm grinding and grinding. Nah, but thank you so much. Lastly, I'll just say to everyone, because of our time, I just want everyone to start from Dami. I don't know if Dami's still on the call. Just tell us one thing you would do differently if you're starting all over. Imagine you just finished your NYC and then you want to start all over in the creative space. So Dami will go first, then we'll have Tommy, Mr. Shego, and then we have Creative Net go lastly so that we can quickly round up this session. Thank you. So Dami, over to you. Something you would do differently.
So one thing or a list of things.
Just be as brief as possible.
All right, so I would say easiest, do the work even when nobody's paying you yet. Right. I mean, I'm not saying to work for free, but when you're just starting out, the big money that I usually hear people calling, you won't get that. You won't get that for your first few years, right? But that shouldn't dampen your passion. That shouldn't dampen the way you go about your work, the hunger that you have, basically. So just stay hungry and stay humble. And humility here is a spectrum, because one thing I would always reiterate is it's a small industry. It's a big industry, hundreds of agencies, thousands of people working in it, but it's still a small agency. So things I would do differently, or things I would just have at the back of my mind, stay hungry, have the knowledge that it's a revolving door. The people you work with today are still the people you work with tomorrow. Do the work, find a mentor. That's key, because mentors give you like a top line view, right? They crunch their years of experience, things that took them years to learn. They'll just make sure you don't have to go through the same steps that they did. And then finally, just consume everything: ads, films, books, movies, music, documentaries. Yeah. So for me, yeah, that's what the process would be.
All right, thank you so much. Tommy, please, are you still on the call? Can you just help us with what you think people can do differently, or what you yourself would have? Well, I don't know, you don't work directly in the advertising agency, but I would say, what do you think participants or interviewees or people who are entry-level guys can do differently? I think that's more specific to your niche.
Thank you for me. So I would say that don't give up. Like everybody on the other speakers have said, is a very intense industry. The pressure is high. You are always running to meet up with clients' expectations and standards, which are constantly evolving, by the way. So there will be times that it may feel like, oh, what am I even doing? Am I even doing it right? But don't give up. Have how you want. Plan out your career in your head. It might be maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and don't deviate from the plan. And even though I'm not in a I'm not a core role in the creative industry, I know that when I wanted to go for my service, I was working in a small office, and I was sent to a particular bank that day to go and do a deposit. And immediately I entered the bank, I saw the vibes, and I was like, okay, I must serve here. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it will happen. And it did happen. And that's experience actually it enriched my my work experience so much that the skills I learned while serving in that bank really put a spotlight on me when I now started my career. So I have a plan. Do whatever it takes. Ask people around you. Ask for mentors, seek out mentors, and actively participate. I think one of the things I've noticed when I've observed when people ask for mentors is that they expect that the mentors will do the work. No, you are the one who want to learn from your mentors. Mentors have other things that they are doing. They have their full-time job, they have consultancy jobs, they have gigs, all those things. You are the one who is very keen on learning new things. So don't let your mentors rest. Hold their neck. Make sure that they understand that you are willing, you are ready to invest your time. Is when you show a mentor, is when you show your teacher, your coach, that yes, I'm willing to invest my personal time. I'm willing to inconvenience myself to make sure that I learn this skill. They will also be serious. So stay focused, take it a step at a time, but stay focused, do not deviate. Make sure that you are constantly looking for ways to improve yourself. Make sure that you are also willing to take on challenges. I have no doubt that you get in if you do all these things and then you smash it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Toby. I'm very grateful. Teshego, are you still on the call? Can you also give your 2 cents on this?
Okay, for me, what will I do differently? Funny how I think I still had this discussion with so a couple of friends of mine have been trying to reach out to my former agency. So they've been asking me a couple of questions. We've been having conversations, and one of them asked me that if I were to go back to my former agency, what would I do differently, and how exactly do I see myself? And I think to answer that, or one of the answer I gave to him, because I first laughed it off like, oh, I don't see myself going back to my former agency, but I mean, it has always been a home for me. It's a place where I learned. So the only thing I think I didn't do was I didn't learn to delegate. So much of the work I bury myself in them, because again, maybe because I am more of a do it myself kind of thing, because sometimes
Because you like
I don't
work
want
too much.
to.
Remember
You
then
know,
I would tell you, I say, hey,
thank
take
God
it easy, oh."
you were always with me, so you experience some of these things with me. So it's just how I was with the work, and I know how I took the agency. It was like my training ground, which is what I used to refer to tomorrow. It was where I learned everything I knew. Like right now, it was the first stop for me. The only thing I think I would go back to change would probably be how to delegate and not bury myself with so much work. But I'm happy to do them again. I mean, just like the last speaker said to me, always have a plan, which was why I think I was successful to a very large extent. I had a plan while I was even in the NYC camp, which was what landed me in the agency. I was so active that I got recommendations left, right, center, and it was just a no-brainer that I had to just go to an agency. I mean, I was part of dance and drama. I was the only mass com students that I had a sports show. I was the sub editor. I was a commentator on every sport activity. I was just moving up and about. I was even my own platoon leader. I was just everywhere. And then people started taking notice of me, like, oh, what do you do? Where are you? And blah blah blah. A lot of questions and conversations. You know, even when I left to join the agency, recommendations were still coming in, like, oh, would you want to port to, I think, Pan African University and one other school? I just said I'm okay in this agency. So always have a plan, you know, come up with a plan, what you want to achieve, set a target for yourself, get a mentor, it will help you go far, you know. And I think one different view from what the other speaker had said is, I think you need to grow with your peers. It's one of the new strategy I'm implementing right now, even in my new space of work. Learn to grow with your peers, because again, the people you see today that are billionaires or the big names in the industry, and why they are doing business with themselves is because these people grew up together and they know themselves. So the people you are seeing today that are your peers, that are just, you know, the same level with you, tomorrow they could just upshoot, and the next thing you are seeing them, they are the head of commercial in one banking industry, director in one parastatal, government policy, and something that you just cannot tell. So learn to grow with your peers, you know, keep those relationships, learn to water them, you know, and grow beyond just, oh, let's meet up and hang out. You know, this generation is very much averse with options. So I think the sky is the limit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Very grateful. And lastly, we have Creative Nerd. Just give us your last closing words. Like I always say, thank you.
You didn't ask me what I would do differently. Do you
Oh
think
yeah. Oh, yeah.
do you
Sorry.
think
Whoa.
do you think I'm perfect?
Okay, what would you do? What would you have done differently if you were starting over?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited now. so, so yeah, one major thing I would have done differently. I recently bought a book, and the title of the book is "Show Your Work." Show your work. I mean, if there's one thing I would do differently is I would flow as possible. Now, this is personal, and I would also do my uh, word of advice. I will blow my horn as loud as possible. But there's this thin line between you saying, "Oh, I'm humble. I don't want people to," and I did the work. I don't want people to know about it. No, you hide behind things. I mean, I'll do that differently now. Take off. I mean, I'm just recently deploying most of the. I just on my profile, and the person was like, "Why am I writing my profile like this?" And I should be shouting more than what I'm doing. And then I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean?" So I've always had this idea of, "Oh, my work will speak for me." No, you need to speak up with your work. So if you're able to do every milestone you have is an opportunity for you to come on social media to make noise. Leave all those people that used to snap their food and snap the work of another chef. Pick your work and make a lot of noise about it. I made that. I won't say it's a mistake. I don't regret anything in life. I was just not informed, right? Every opportunity you have, speak your work. Let your work show for you. And I tell people, a lot of people wait for it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Come out and talk about your mistakes. Come out and talk about, oh, how you were bashed today because you didn't deliver on your project. And this is 5 things I learned from it. And this is what I'll start doing differently. That one video you made or that one thing you posted on social media is enough to help somebody else evade that mistake. Because we rarely document things in this country, and then we ought to start doing it differently. As I'm speaking, I just remember that I had a nudge in my spirit because there was a time I used to be very timid. I had very low self-esteem, right? And I was able to come out of it. But then there's this very timid person, and then we said, and only enough, when I see someone that is shy or possibly has low self-esteem, I can easily figure out that this was very good because I was once there. And I also realized that God will not allow you come out of something that He doesn't want you to use and turn into a solution for somebody else. Somebody said God parted the Red Sea because nobody had the idea to make a boat at that point. God will not part the Red Sea again because He has given us idea as men to make a boat that will cross the Red Sea. So for you to go through a particular challenge and come out of it is an opportunity to document the entire process and become a doctor of philosophy in that aspect. So that is what I would do different. I will show my work, whether positive or negative. That's what I would have done differently from that. Then my word of advice is I'll just use one word. I think we should all learn to, myself inclusive right now, as I'm using we should all learn to fail forward. Most times when we get negative, the industry is tough. You have more no's than yes. In fact, everybody that is successful in this life will tell you, I've had more no's than yes. So prepare yourself to be a no in what word should I use now? Be no proof. Yes. Be no proof. So when people tell you no, you need to shift your mind from, oh, I'm being rejected, I'm being turned down, into, oh, that is people's default response. People's default response is no. You keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying. So you need to build a no proof if you really want to be successful in this life. Because one thing that is different from a successful person and someone that is not successful is one key: consistency. They keep going back. They keep going back until they get it. Cristiano Ronaldo has most goals in this world currently, as he has the most missed shots. How would you score if you don't try? So if you try the first time, it doesn't go and you give up, how would you eventually score? So you have to keep trying consistently. You have to keep going back to behavior. And in order to build your self up to keep going back, you need to be someone that is no proof. So with these 3 points of mine, as I always end, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. Yes, that's the word. I confuse you that being a no proof person takes you a step closer to becoming a you that the world will celebrate tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you so much. I am very grateful. I think that no proof, we should go and really build ourselves, even it cuts across board from peer, even beyond the job to your relationships. You just have to, we get more no's than we get yeses, right? So thank you so much for your time. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you to everyone who registered and decided to be a part of this milestone. I am very grateful. It's not easy to have people join a call on a Saturday evening when they're meant to be resting, but you guys decided to show up for me. Thank you so much, my speakers. Thank you so much, Creative there. Thank you so much, Mr. Shego. Thank you so much, Dami. Tommy, thank you. I know Tommy is very busy. Like this, she's meant to be sleeping right now. Thank you so much. I am very grateful. And to everyone who has joined the call, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Atinuka Ibrahim, thank you. Daniel, thank you. Emmanuel Ajagwe, thank you so much. Faith, thank you. Favor, Kosi, thank you so much for joining the call. I'm very grateful. Oladimeji Rita, thank you so much. Oluvani Femi Ajani, thank you so much. Samuranti, thank you. That's my big sis. Vera, thank you so much for joining the call. I'm super grateful to everyone. And at this point, we'll say a goodbye to everyone. A recording of this would be sent across to us in case you want to listen to it again. Our speakers are also on LinkedIn. Because they are very busy, they don't used to post all the knowledge that they have. I wish they can be posting, they can be dishing so much information. The major person that I'll be following is Tommy, so that I will know how to position myself to be collecting like 1 million naira maybe every 2 days in one industry or one agency like that, so that I'll put all the HR strategy. She would have given it to me on our LinkedIn page. So please, let's follow them on LinkedIn. I'll send a follow-up message, an email to this. Please check your mailbox. You have their LinkedIn profile. You can reach out to them. You can send them a message. You can follow their posts. Like they said, don't be a pest. Don't be disturbing them in their DMs, please. They are busy people, right? Thank you so much. Even Creative Net adds wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Go and enter his DM. Dami is also very chill. Dami will respond to you. He might respond late, but he will definitely respond to you when he can. And for Mr. Shego is like a chill person. He's just my guy. It's just, his life is not stressful at all. Just ask him. He might not respond to you early, but he will definitely respond to you. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this. I am very grateful. See you in the next webinar. Thank you and bye.